Thanks everybody for joining today's Digital Services Forum. We will be talking about mastering tech debt on the Now platform. Looking forward to working with you today on this. And if you're a new member, use the chat and say hi and let us know what company you're with. Really appreciate you attending and looking forward to interactive conversation today. So what is a Digital Services Forum? We'll just do a quick overview of our vision. We really want to be a leader in digital transformation and thought leadership. We're enabling the members. So this is really a member-driven forum. So it's for our members to communicate with each other and share best practices, knowledge, and experiences so that you can learn from each other. And then we'll bring, of course, expertise from ServiceNow and from third parties, like you'll see today from Bravium, which will provide additional information and knowledge to you. We at the Enterprise Architecture team support the Digital Services Forum, and usually we have bi-weekly sessions. And you'll usually, once you're a member, you'll get a notification of the sessions. You can join those sessions as you need to, and as the subject matter is interesting to you. Today's topic, we'll talk about mastering tech debt on the Now platform, a major challenge for a lot of our customers and trying to deal with that. Today we'll have Bruce Freilich. Proud to have Bruce, my manager here, Director of Enterprise Architecture, and Scott Zailer, Vice President of Product at Bravium Consulting. So the agenda will be understanding tech debt, causes, impacts, and assessment tools, and then strategies for elimination. And then we'll showcase some tools and demos and customer success. You can use the chat if you have any questions, so feel free to use that. And then we will leave a little bit of time at the end for kind of an interactive discussion. Bruce will be here to answer questions. I'll be able to answer questions, and I'll be monitoring the chat as well. If you have any questions, go ahead and use the chat as a primary.
Scott, thank you for joining us today. So again, my name is Bruce Freilich. I'm the director for the Enterprise Architecture team here at ServiceNow, and proud to have Scott Zailer with us. He's the Vice President of Product at Bravium, and he'll be doing most of the demoing conversations today. Just quick safe harbor notice that I'm sure you used to seeing on all our presentations, but we need to incorporate this. Scott, do you just want to start maybe just setting the tone with the agenda?
Yeah, absolutely. And apologies for the delay there, some technology issues. Thank you everyone for having us. So I'm Scott Zailer, as Bruce said. We've got a couple of different topics to cover today, really focused around platform health and how we help customers, how that can be the consequences of that, of poor platform health, that is, and then how our products can address it, as well as showing some of the technology and talking about a case study. One just housekeeping thing, we've got the QR code in the top right there that goes to our website. If you want to reach out to us, feel free to scan that. We'll have some links at the end as well.
Great, thank you, Scott. We could even just skip through this. We just kind of did, some of the intros. Scott, do you just want to talk about Bravium?
Yeah, just real quick about Bravium. So we're based out of Rockville, Maryland. We've been in business since 2010, but we're a pure play ServiceNow partner starting back in 2014. We participate in all of the ServiceNow partner programs, but heavily focused on consulting and implementation, as well as build, of course, and with the products and technology. And so, it was a combination of this that led to several Partner of the Year awards that we've won, in 2022. Sorry, there's should be another tab at the top for presentation. In 2022, we won Partner of the Year for Creator Workflow for a combination of our CNI and build. And then this year, with all the traction of the app, the store Partner of the Year for the Americas, we've been the #1 rate app for over 5 years. We're pretty proud of that, and we've got reach across all regions with in every different vertical as well.
Great, thank you, Scott. So we have a couple of poll questions to get started. Jason, are you able to set the poll up for us so we could get results back?
Yep, I can launch the polls. So whichever one you would like me to launch first, I can launch. So
Yep. Again, today's conversation, probably something that everyone on this call has faced is ServiceNow tech debt. And it's really what Bravium does best is really helping to eliminate and understand the debt and help to resolve that. So a couple of these questions at the beginning are just trying to figure out how long you've been on the platform, and the perception of tech debt, et cetera. So I see, Jason, you popped this up, which is great.
Yep.
So if we could have everyone just answer, you'll see the three questions that came up. How long have you been on the platform? What do you think is really the amount of option for the amount of technical debt on the platform? And when are you looking to adopt just Gen AI overall from a ServiceNow perspective? So we'll give everyone a second there. So Jason, when you think you got those from everyone, if you want to post the results, that would be great.
Like we got about 96 response. That's pretty good.
That's it. Come on, we got to get to 100 people.
There we go. We're
Come
way
on.
over.
There we go.
We have 167 people on, which is a pretty high record. We're doing pretty good. We should get better. See if we can make 115 here. We're at 108, 109.
All right. We're not continuing until we get to 115 for those of you that have not done the poll. No, just kidding. All right. Yeah, whenever you think is the right time. This will really help shape the rest of the conversation.
All right. So looks like, yeah, there we'll end it at 119. So
great. And then are you able to share the results on the screen?
Yes.
Do I need to? Oh, there we go. Awesome. So just a quick summary. So really interesting. So 70% of the folks on the phone have been on the platform for 5 or more years, which is typically that magical inflection point, Scott, right? That we see from customers of, they may have built some stuff before it was on the platform. It's now out of the box with the platform. So they've achieved this debt. Perception of the technical debt, I see 51% significant but manageable, 24% unmanageable, 13% even unknown. So looking at that, Scott, in reverse, only 12% are saying it's not significant. So you got 88%, probably why we have almost 200 people on the phone. 88% of the folks are, putting this in a significant or worse bucket. And, about a third looking for Now Assist in the next year, another 37% the next 2 to 4 years. So, quite a lot. So thank you, everyone, for that. So I'm just going to click through there. So I'm going to start real quick on just, how we define tech debt. And then I'm going to turn it over to Scott. For those of you that have met me before, I am just a huge fan of Bravium and what they do. I firmly believe they have helped solve this tech debt problem that so many of our customers have. I talk to executives all over the Americas about this problem. And from just a background and how customers got there, we do our 2 releases a year. Now we do it even more with our store releases. So there's constantly upgrades. And if you don't have a ton of tech debt, you could really get these upgrades and get the value right away. If there's some tech debt, it does make some of these upgrades harder. And that really increases that struggle to really maximize that value of the investment. If you can't do the upgrades, you can't use some of the stuff out of the box. So those barriers are what we call tech debt. The sources pretty much come from these 3 key areas on the left: heavily configured workflow, custom code that exists, and then as you're doing the upgrade, just more and more items that get skipped. So what happens as far as the impact is it makes these upgrades that should be fairly seamless and simple a little more complex, takes a little longer. Sometimes customers are maybe just doing the one upgrade a year instead of the two because the upgrades are taking a while. One of the most important, that second bullet that you see, not having the ability to leverage the new innovations. We have put so much new capabilities on this platform that you're just not able to really innovate as quickly as your peers, which also causes less of an adoption of any of the new solutions. Could be some of the Now Assist stuff, maybe, that you feel there's so much debt that you're having trouble adopting that. And then overall performance and stability becomes an issue. Why we see customers, it tends to be folks that have been early adopters of ServiceNow. When I talk to executives, I use 5 years as that kind of that magical point of how much this platform has changed. That if you've been on the platform for more than 5 years, and the majority of the folks here are, tech debt starts to become a question that really comes in. And just to give you a visual that I think really shows how tech debt has occurred. So this is the capability map for those of you that have been on the platform for 10 plus years. This goes all the way back to Berlin. This was ServiceNow in the Berlin days. Fast forward to Xanadu, and you can see we've squeezed more and more stuff. I can't imagine another release or two how we're going to get it on one slide. But the platform has grown astronomically. And this has really helped with some of that tech debt. So with that, I'm now going to kind of turn it over to Scott. And before I do, again, my personal testimonial, if you will. My team of architects, we talk to a lot of customers around the globe. And this is one topic that comes up, and customers come to us and they're debating starting over and going greenfield with their instance. And they want more than just a gut feel. They don't want the folks like Jason or I or John Spirko to say, you know what, I think you should start over. It's a pretty big endeavor. They want some metrics. They want some reasoning behind it. And they want to at least attempt to eliminate that debt, not just totally give up. We also don't want it to be, I've seen customers, I kind of call it the whack-a-mole approach, where you focus a couple of weeks on one piece of tech debt and you knock it down, and then another one pops up and another one pops up. And one of the ones that you use to fix something has actually incurred more tech debt, and you're going around and around. That's when I got introduced to Bravium, and the power of what they do to me is twofold.
Hopper.
They could, if we could go on mute, Michael, I think we're getting just some background noise, if possible. Thank you. So where I kind of got introduced to Bravium is their ability to intelligently determine the tech debt that exists and give you potential solutions, and really in depth of how complex and bad that debt is. And then I call the second piece of what they do the insurance policy, where real time they'll help determine any tech debt that you're introducing, day by day as you're, creating these new update sets. So you don't get back into this problem. A lot of times when I talk to senior leaders, they'll say, Bruce, we'll start over once, right? I get it. We've done some stuff to ourselves. Maybe we didn't have the right partner involved, but you got to promise me you're not going to come into my office 5 years from now and say, we got to do this again. Like, that's going to be a non-starter. So with the best practice engine, and I'm sure I'm totally stealing Scott's thunder, but he'll do a much better job explaining in detail what they do. They're going to real time, as you're introducing more and more code and update sets, they're going to catch stuff along the way. So we don't have to have these awkward conversations at this levels 5 years later. We can catch it when it happens. So I could go on and on, but I won't. Just a huge fan, strongly believe in what they do. So with that, Scott, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'll be do my best Vanna White. Just tell me when to move forward in the deck for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Bruce. As a great intro. Just to pull this back to and sort of put the AI spin on it, if you will. I know with so many folks that are concerned about technical debt on this call and how poor platform health can inhibit your growth. You want to do a lot on the ServiceNow platform. We all want to continue our investment there and protect that investment, but it's hard to do that when you have this poor platform health. And so we call out some of the issues here with data integrity, slow performance. These are inhibitors to be able to adopt AI. AI is everywhere, right? Are we in a conversation every hour that talks about AI? But we can't adopt it when there's all these different issues that we're facing, whether it's the increased technical debt, the complexity in your system, the inability to upgrade the system to the latest releases, like Bruce was talking about, security vulnerabilities, God forbid, and then higher costs just to maintain what you have today. These are all things that our tooling, our best practice engine, can help you with, and we're gonna talk about that today. We want to go to the next slide. So just switching gears here and getting more into best practice engine. It came about because we were on our CNI side. So we're doing implementation work. We're based, like I said, out of Maryland, so right outside DC. We do a lot of federal, U.S. federal work, and we're finding that developers were violating best practices quite often. We're doing these code reviews of tens of thousands of lines and finding that the code base was deteriorating. It was hard to catch all the issues that were coming through, just through manual code reviews. And so the initial use case was just to create a tool that could automate code reviews, that could code scan, specifically for ServiceNow best practices, before it actually got into a code review process. Now it's grown to be much more over time. But if you look at this, the double side arrow on this slide really tells it all. First, we want to stop new issues from occurring. Like Bruce said, we want to stop the bleeding. As soon as you get us installed, we will stop the bleeding right then and there because we provide feedback on the screen as to what the developer is doing wrong. And I'll show this in the demo in a few minutes. The second way that we operate, though, is nightly scanning as well. And so if you're importing code or if you've been on the platform, like we talked about, for customers that have been on the platform for 4+ years, which doesn't seem like that long, but there are a lot of changes that can be accrued over that time, we will nightly scan your instance and tell you what issues are under the covers that you may not be aware of. Now, the app has been on the store since 2018. We've been the #1 rated app since 2019. And through that time, we've really built out a huge set of features. We actually just had a release this week of new functionality that we can talk about. But I call out a couple of them below here just to give you an idea. First off, we have a comprehensive definition set. So we give over 400 definitions out of the box that are based on not only ServiceNow community best practices, they may be similar to HealthScan, but also Bravium best practices from our CNI side. So in a way, you get consulting out of the box right there, our expert services. In addition to that, though, customers can write their own custom definitions. They can create definitions that are specific to your use case. And so we have a lot of customers that once they get used to using Best Practice Engine, will write their own definitions that go above and beyond what we have as well. And so that's a really powerful feature that allows you to adapt it to your own scenario, your own sort of SDLC, if you will. We've got some great dashboard reporting that I'll show later. It's interactive. It helps you understand your scenario, your situation, your technical debt, but then it's also interactive that helps you get to the heart of the problem. You can get down to the file and line item level of where the issues are. I see some of the questions in the chat. I'll try to address them as I go. Yes, CNI is consulting and implementation. That's consulting or partners that you bring in to do your implementations for you. The other side of Bravium does that as well. And so we leverage some of that learning that goes into Best Practice Engine. How is BP with code related to RA present customization? We can scan present customizations as well. It's not just real time what's coming up new. We'll scan what's existing already with the nightly scanning. Getting back to the slide though, some other features that I just want to call out. First is proposed fix. So this is our first sort of AI-like feature where I'll demo this as well. But essentially, for a quarter of our definitions, we're saying not only that there's an issue, but we'll show you how to fix it, and we'll draft the fix for you. We will propose a fix to you that you can choose to adopt into your platform or into your ServiceNow. And so with the click of a button, we call it click to fix for short. With the click of a button, you can adopt that. It'll generate an update set, and it'll be just like you actually or your developer made the change themselves. And then lastly, we have a series of integrations. This is predominantly a dev environment tool. However, when you're first getting started, you may want to look at production. And so we can connect the different instances through our APIs. We also have external reaching APIs if you want to look at, or if you want to connect to Jira or Azure DevOps. We have some scenarios where you want to do that. We won't talk about that too much today, but suffice to say, you can do that if you want. There's a question here from Christiane. Do you put criticality of issues that need to be addressed? Yes, we do. We use a scoring. It's a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the most severe. And I'll talk about this when we get into the platforms. But essentially, we say, if you violate this best practice, what's the impact to your instance? How impactful is it going to be to you? Or is it to you already, of course? And so we use that to drive a lot of our reporting as well. We'll talk about that more later, Christiane. Getting into the value, what's the payoff? What are we looking to get, or what are you going to get out of this? First of all, early detection. Stop the bleeding. Make your deployment, your delivery life cycles go faster because we're finding issues earlier in the life cycle. So code reviews are going to go faster. Testing's going to go faster. Deploying to production is going to go faster. And then once in production, your productions can be much more stable. You're not going to have the rollbacks that, no one wants that midnight phone call on a Saturday night. And so we'll find issues earlier in the life cycle that'll make the rest of the life cycle go much faster, much smoother. Improve governance for, we didn't have a question about how big are your delivery teams or how big is your project that's managing your ServiceNow instance, but we can provide a baseline governance over the largest of customers. And we have some very large customers across the globe. We provide a governance, a baseline standard that everyone has to adhere to. Everyone has to color within the lines that we provide and that we guide on. And then lastly, training. This is really an undersold part of the app, but you'll see it when I demo. The feedback that we provide teaches your developers the best way to code, and then they become better resources, better developers. They're putting better solutions into your platform that'll lead to healthier outcomes. And so it really works as a training aid as well, on top of just doing all this early prevention, detection, dig out, you name it. It's also a super powerful training aid that will augment your training budgets. Okay, so let's stop talking about it. Let's show it, okay? So I'm going to show a couple of videos. First, a real-time, which is that real-time feedback. And then I'll live demo Platform Manager, which is one of our custom role-based dashboards. And then lastly, we'll show the proposed fix, which is that click-to-fix functionality. So just bear with me here as I pull up my video.
Hey, Scott, there was one question in the chat, I think, from Teresa. I don't know if you saw that. It just that she asked it, does your tool eliminate or automate the skip list review process and identify where out of the box can replace customizations?
Does it automate the skip list? So I believe that we have a second tool actually that is called Upgrade Assistant that helps more with customization management and with skip lists, and it will help you determine how to address your skips. And I believe, Jake, I think you're on the phone or on the line.
Yep.
I believe Upgrade Assistant might be more applicable for that question. Would you agree?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. The skip list review management and making decisions on those skips, as well as what is not out of box versus what is exactly what UA does. So that's in a different tool, but VP is more focused on real time and scheduled scanning. You can see in the application files whether something is out of box or not, or if it's been customized in VP, but it's not the main focus.
Yeah, so suffice to say, we can address it with our second tool. It's just not specifically in Best Practice Engine, but we'd be happy to show you that tool as well. That just wasn't the focus of today's conversation.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see my media player here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can.
Okay. So what we're looking at here is just a standard script. It's already preloaded with some best practice issues or violations, as we call them. And so what the developer is doing here is modifying the code and then they're going to go and save it. And so you see right there, that's the magic. As soon as they save it, we provide the feedback right there on the screen. You can see the errors and warnings that are created. If you look at, and when I say error and warning, you can see the first words there are best practice error, best practice warning. Those are different types of violations or issues that we call them. An error will stop a developer in their tracks. They cannot save until they fix that. They cannot save the file until they fix the issue. That's how we say intrusive, but in a good way. That's how much of corrective action is required for these sorts of issues. We tell them, along with that there is an issue, what the issue is, where it occurred, how to fix it. So again, going back to training, how to fix it, as well as a link to supporting documentation. And so we're really getting to the heart of corrective actions here and how to make your platform better by providing specific guidance all the way down to the line item level of what the issue is. There was a question earlier around priority. You can see to the top right, we have impact of 9. That's where I was saying impact level, impact to instance. We call it impact is prioritization. A 9 is very severe. It's significant. You want to take a look at this. And so now what he's going to do is actually correct the issue after he reviews it, of course. And then we'll just go and save it again. And you can see that error has now dropped off. And so now they can address what the warning is, which is the next issue. A warning can be saved, but they have to submit an exception reason. And so you see that button on the top right there, best practice exception. That's where they can move forward, but they have to submit an exception to their team lead, who can then review and approve it. We talked about some of the integrations to production. If you want to do approvals in production, we have the capability to do that as well. So let me stop that one. I'll shift over to the dashboards here and make sure I'm still logged in. Yep, great. Okay. Okay, so what you're looking at here is our role-based dashboards. These are specific to Best Practice Engine. We built these from the ground up. They're role-based, so depending on the hat that you wear or multiple hats that you wear, you can assign these to your folks as you see fit. You see in the top left there, we've got executive, platform manager, team lead, developer. Those are the different roles that we built in Best Practice Engine. Platform manager, you're typically managing multiple teams. And so to the right here, we've got the different teams that you're managing. So different musical acts. Bruce, I'll get Grateful Dead in here at some point, I promise.
Thank you.
But we've got musical acts as well as movie groups as well. And so you're looking at the data for each of these different teams, and it's organized by team. But as you get to team lead, they will drill down into one specific team. I'm not going to show that today, but suffice to say that gets down into one specific team. The developer gets to just their technical debt. In the top left here, going back to that impact level, this is the violations at broken out by impact level. So you can see the 8, 9s, and 10s are the most severe, so we heat them up. It's a little bit of a heat map as well. And you can actually, when we talked about the dashboards being interactive, you can click on that and see the 10s that are within the violations that are 10s right away. So when I talk about interactive, you can forward navigate to the 10s and start looking at these. You can see all the details for each of these violations. The scanned record will take you to the file where the issues are. You can also generate user stories on your backlog with some of the integrations that we have that I talked about earlier. Now down below, we show some trend charts. This is showing trend chart by team, how technical debt is going by team. We also have a stacked, or excuse me, not stacked, just a bar chart of the technical debt by team. We also show the violations by priority. And so no surprise, the first violation is a security violation, impact to instance of 10. So these are the ones that, and we also, I should say, we sort this chart by highest impact, lowest time to resolve. That's right, lowest time to resolve. So we tell you how long we think it will take to fix the violation. So we tell you how big, if you extrapolate that, and we're reporting on your whole instance, we're telling you all the violations. This customer has 11,000, almost 11,800 violations. We can tell you how long it'll take to fix each one of those issues, and we tell you how much, therefore, how much technical debt it takes. We also have a calculation where you can see if we apply a blended rate to that, we can tell you how expensive your technical debt is. It all starts with this total time to resolve or estimated time to resolve. That is Bravium saying, we think this is how long it takes to fix these issues. And so we provide a really good idea of how much technical debt you have that you need to look at and address. Moving forward, we also, again, this is showing by team, so you can see per team how much technical debt is in each of the categories. We haven't talked about categories yet, but our definition set, that 400 definitions that we have, each of those are tagged to a specific category, whether it be deployment, maintenance, performance, security, user experience. These should all sound familiar to you, of course, but you can see how much technical debt is in each of these categories. Where it's blue, it's hyperlinked. And so you can get into, you can get to the list of each of these. If you want to see the 8 in deployment for others, you can see that as well. One big one that I want to touch on here, violations by file type. So we have a customer in Toyota who, when they first got us, they looked at this dashboard. They went to client script performance. So right now, this customer has 910 issues there. They addressed those findings immediately and were able to reduce their load time of transactions during the workday by 50%. So their screens were loading 50% faster during the workday. That gives their users, their end users, a better experience with ServiceNow. And when users have better experience with ServiceNow, they wonder what else can we do with this platform, right? And so that's really the outcomes that we're looking for. That's the power of the definitions that we can provide, of the observations that we make. And then lastly, just violations by suite. So we do reporting on suites and packages. You can see within your application or within your platform and different applications where the violations are. If you want to look at them by this view as well, you've got this sort of view on it, just another way to slice and dice the data. There's a lot more dashboards here, a lot more different reporting. Just for the sake of time, we're not going to go through all of it, but reach out to us, braviumlabs.com, contact us. We can walk through, we'll set up a personalized demo and walk through all of this with you as well. So with that, let me just switch to the last one, which is proposed fix. me just one moment here. Were there any new questions that came in the chat?
Yeah, there were a couple. Quite a few actually. Looks like Jake was answering a couple of them, but
Okay.
yeah, there's let me just start back with what the one I think Jim Ray had one. Can Bravium tool be obtained used for an on-premise ServiceNow instance?
Yes, it can. Yes. We
Okay.
have one customer at least that is on premise, and we just need some help from your account team, but it does not prohibit us from deploying on-prem, certainly.
And
And
Scott,
I
just
think
a couple of questions on licensing. I'm assuming just best for them to reach out to you guys
Yeah, that's
directly.
best exactly, Bruce. Reach out to us and we can talk about licensing for sure.
So again, you have the QR code on the top right. So just scan that when we pop it back up, and you could go directly to Bravium with that.
Great. Okay. Let's show this demo real quick. We're doing pretty good on time, I think.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're pretty good. Got about 16 minutes or so, 15 minutes.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the click to fix functionality. What you're looking at here, this is a violation. So this is an observation or a finding that we have, whatever you want to call it. We call it a violation. You violated a best practice. And so you're looking at the specific details of it, but on the top, you have this apply proposed fix option. And so what he's going to do is actually click on this. And first, we're going to look at the header information of this violation. So, the details again, how to resolve it, what table was involved, impact to instance, supporting documentation, you name it. But down below, so he's going to minimize that. Down below, we see the diff come up, and the diff actually shows you what the current version, what's currently in your instance on the left. And then on the right, we've actually changed it. We've fixed that naming convention so that the inc variable starts with gr instead of just inc. We've actually shown you what those changes look like. And so now you can review that and say, yes, I like what it's done here. I've liked all these changes. He's going to scroll down. And click apply proposed fix. Now, before he clicked that, the changes weren't made in the system. They're just in memory. They're on the screen. Nothing's actually done. When you click apply proposed fix, you actually are accepting that to be drafted into your instance. Now, it's still not saved to the table. It's still not saved to the database. And so you still have to click save and commit like you normally would, but we've actually drafted the changes for you. We tried to write them directly to the database and the certifiers hated that. So we don't do that, but we do draft it for you on the screen, and we'll create an update set for you. So you get all the same audit logs and tracking, just as you would with any other changes. But we actually just draft it right on the screen for you and sort of cut down on the length or the time it takes to implement our changes. And so all he's doing here is reviewing. Those are the changes from rows 5 to 9, and then he's just going to save it. And now the update set is created. So super powerful, right? Now you can speed up. We don't even just tell you what your technical debt is, where it is. We tell you how to fix it. We're actually going a step further and starting to fix it for you and helping you dig out even faster. We want to go back to the slides.
Yes. All right. So you see the PayPal slide there? Perfect.
Yeah, so hopefully, just to wrap that up, hopefully that was a good representation. A couple of key features that we have in the best practice engine. Again, you've got the QR code there, braviumlabs.com. Reach out. We'd love to set up a personalized demo for you, show you in greater detail. We just wanted to give you a flavor of some of the power that the tool has that we've been working on for over 6.5 years now. So now let's switch gears. We're going to talk about PayPal. I co-presented this story with PayPal at Knowledge 24. We'll be at Knowledge 25 presenting new stories on some other customers that we have. But this just gives you an idea of, the journey that one of our customers had using our tooling. So PayPal, just to sort of paint the picture, PayPal had a very complex implementation. They were on platform for 4 years when they found us. So right in the wheelhouse of, well, a lot of you said you guys have been on platform for. They're very complex in the fact that they had multiple modules that they're implementing or had implemented, and they had multiple implementation partners that were all coexisting in the same environment. And so we created this tree graphic, this tree analogy that showed the complexity of all this, all these different implementation partners, plus they had their own center of excellence. They wanted to start a citizen developer program, but this was really the context behind it. Next slide. So what was happening at the time when they found us? They had frustrated customers. They had a slow system. It was hard to make changes in the system. It took them a long time to deliver. There's a lot of friction throughout the process. And so they weren't happy from like just an operational standpoint. Below the scenes, or below the soil, below ground, under the covers, they had a poor platform health score, 50%, and they had several findings, 15,000 findings. I mean, that's a large number. Next slide. And so the base of their tree was cracked. So then they decided to do something about it. They went out to market. They did market research. They found us. They engaged with us. We gave them a demo. They went through a trial. They evaluated the application as well as some other possibilities, and decided to go forward with us. They purchased it. They started rolling it out. They did it in a limited manner where they could then, evaluate the change management aspect of it. I talked about how, this teaches developers, but it's also can be intrusive to start with before developers get used to the messaging. And so there's sort of a change management aspect to it. But everything worked out for them. They managed it really well. They're able to fully deploy it and make it operational all within 4 months, which was a great journey for them, great success. So now, next slide. This was 4 years ago they did this. So 4 years later, they've written their own definitions. They had a much earlier version, and so they wrote a significant amount of definitions on their own. They have their own center of excellence that's also managing the tool. So they wrote their own definitions, but really the payoff is they're able to prevent 8,000 new violations from occurring. That is a staggering number of violations that they would have had they not had us, right? So they're able to prevent 8,000 violations, 4,000 to 8,000 hours saved. That's just in development time. That doesn't include code reviews or testing or regression testing or rollbacks from production, you name it. It was just in development time. They're able to save 8,000 hours. And their health score went up dramatically, from 50 to 85%. They're able to manage their technical debt. They have a much better code quality. Their code base is in much better shape. Their developers are educated, and their life cycle is just managed much better now. Next slide. And so where are they looking to do next? They started with the citizen developer program, but now they have the governance and the controls in place where they can do that. They want to use our proposed fixed functionality. This was back in May when it was just being rolled out. And so they're going to dig into that. And then the last one is the Gen AI capabilities. They're looking at Gen AI within ServiceNow, that they want to adopt text to code. We can scan text to code. So if you adopt Now Assist for Creator, and you're concerned about what's the code that's producing, Best Practice Engine will actually scan it. I could show you this in a one-off demo. Best Practice Engine can actually scan that and tell you that good code is coming in. And they said that if you're even thinking about adopting Gen AI, make sure you have Bravium there along with you. And so that's really a great success that we talk about a lot at Bravium, because it just shows the strength of the platform for a very complex environment. They had multiple integrators, a lot of technical debt they were working through, and we were able to turn that around and make it quite a positive experience for them.
Scott, I had a question too related to um, you know, the 15,000 violations that were originally found. Were
Yep.
those all resolved over that 4-month period? And then the 8,000 that came after were like ones that were prevented, right? So as they continue to leverage the platform, utilize it and code in it, they're able to then, you know, obviously catch those issues before they happen. But the original 15,000, is that just a remediation plan that they had, a kind of it separate from anything net new going?
That's right. Yeah, that's a great point, Jason. They had, Bruce talked about earlier where he'll talk to executives about going back to greenfield, right? Going back to out of box. That's one option. The other option is to dig out of what you currently have. And so they had those 15,000 violations. They decided to pay for a Tiger team to address those 15,000 violations. That was their 50% health score. And that improved them. They're able to dig out and improve their health score by addressing those 15,000 violations. And we, through our prioritization, we will tell you what needs to be addressed, what's most important, and what needs to be addressed when it needs to be addressed. And so we help create a roadmap for you of how to better improve your situation.
Okay, great. And then I think Fred has one as well in the chat. By customizing the BPE, were they in danger of increasing tech debt again on the BPE app, or was it a mindset issue for PayPal?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, Fred, because we look to continue to add value with the tool. We have multiple releases a year, and we will add new definitions if there's new definitions from a new release, or if there's things that change in the marketplace, like the knowledge base findings. There were some security issues with ServiceNow knowledge base back over the summer. We created and deployed a series of new definitions, new checks that our customers could download to see if they had issues with their knowledge base. That actually added to their technical debt score. Yes, you're right. That increased the technical debt. I think the important thing is knowing where that technical debt is coming from, so that whether it's the cause of something that you've changed or whether we've added more definitions that allow you greater visibility into your technical debt. But yes, it can occur that you add definitions and you have a higher or you have a worse health score.
And Scott, I just saw a question pop up, a very popular one. How does this compare with HealthScan?
Yeah, so HealthScan is a great question. HealthScan is a very, and we do get this quite often. HealthScan is a very reactionary tool. It's something that you run monthly that looks back in time and looks at what's already occurred. Best practice engine is about being proactive, about finding the issues early in the life cycle, early detection, so that you can save all that downstream time. Not only that, but we have a lot of similar definitions to HealthScan, not complete overlap with HealthScan. I will not say that, but we have additional information than what HealthScan even provides. We tell you where the issue is, how to fix it, how long it'll take to fix. A lot of great metadata that keeps us in business, honestly.
Awesome.
And Scott, another good one that just popped up, just from a security standpoint, wondering, does the data stay within the environment, or, do people lose some of the data? Does it, go out elsewhere?
Yeah, that is a great question. All the best practice engine data stays within your instance. The only thing that goes out is if you have those integrations to like Agile or Jira, but that's still within your customer landscape, within your specific landscape. Bravium does not see any customer data. There is no integration back to Bravium. Nothing gets sent back to us. None of the scanning happens at Bravium. It all happens within your instance on your platform. It's all self-contained within your ServiceNow. Yeah, thank you, Everett.
Jason, I think we got all the questions that was in there.
There was one more.
Oh, do we have more?
Yeah.
So something just came up, asking if there's overlap with the ServiceNow configuration review that we do. It's more of a services offering. I mean, I would say that this is the difference between the proactive and the reactive. Again, is one of the biggest differences. We're going to do a configuration review after the fact and tell you stuff rather than just, real time while you're creating code.
Yeah.
And Fred, thank you. Fred wrote, that's a good point too, Fred. We should hire you. Says this is a one-time engagement, not proactive. Very true, right? That's at a one point in time how you're doing. That doesn't mean a week, a month, a year from now. That's accurate.
Yeah.
Good point.
Once you have us in and running, we stop it from that point forward. It's not a one-time thing, it's an ongoing thing. Absolutely.
Great. All right.
Great.
Well, thank you, Scott, for joining us today. Jason, thank you for kicking us off. Like we said, if you're interested, scan the QR code, and feel free to reach out to the folks at Bravium. They'd love to, see if they could help you eliminate the debt that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Braviumlabs.com. We will be at Knowledge 25. Look for us there if you'd like to connect in person. We'd love to talk to you beforehand, of course. And thank you again, Bruce, Jason. Thank you for hosting. Thank you for having us. We appreciate the opportunity to talk about what we have and how we can help.
Yeah, thank you both. It was a great presentation. Appreciate it. Just to wrap up a couple things. You can join the community right on the ServiceNow community page. You'll see the link here. You can sign up for future sessions there, download previous sessions and content. This will be posted on YouTube as well. So you'll be able to get the content there, and John will post all of the presentation material. And then you can also do feedback on the community there as well. So again, thank you all for attending today. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Bye.